The screams of the dying queen echoed through the neural pathways of the forest's dawn as the Council's dissolver beams ate through her living hull. I felt Mother Mind Tlith shudder within our own vessel, her empathic connection to her sister queen bringing their shared agony aboard the Eternal Bloom. "Break formation," I commanded, my antennae quivering with suppressed rage. "All Thornseed pods target the lead Council vessel." Through the transparent sections of our living hull, I watched our sister ship die. The forest's dawn had been grown from the same sacred world-heart cutting as the Eternal Bloom. Now her mighty branches, once strong enough to withstand the vacuum of space, withered and crumbled under the Council's weapons. The Council ships, geometric nightmares of cold metal and hard angles, maintained their perfect formation as they murdered our kin. Their communication channels remained open, broadcasting the death sounds of the Forest Sans crew, a psychological tactic they'd grown fond of using. "My children?" Mother Mind Tlith's thoughts resonated through the ship's mycelial network. "Launch the thorns." Our Thornseed pods, grown from the deadliest of the World Heart Tree's defensive mechanisms, burst open. Each projectile was a living thing, carrying enough toxins to eat through standard Council hull plating. They streaked across space, leaving trails of bioluminescent spores in their wake. But the Council had adapted. "Energy shields!" my sensor officer chittered in dismay. "They've reconfigured to—" The thorns exploded against the shields, their deadly payloads wasted against the technological barrier. I watched the Council ships advance through the glittering debris of our attack, their formations utterly untouched. "We must retreat." Mother Mind Tlith's thoughts carried equal measures of wisdom and sorrow. "The Eternal Bloom cannot fall today." I knew she was right. We'd lost 3 major Thornseed pods in the initial engagement, and our photosynthesis chambers were barely operating at 40% capacity. The Forest's Dawn had been our last sister ship in this sector. Without her, we couldn't maintain the ambush strategy that had kept us alive these past cycles. "Helm, plot a course through the debris field," I ordered. "Prepare for deep space hibernation once we clear the system." The Council ships pressed their attack, their dissolving beams cutting through space where we had been moments before. The Eternal Bloom shuddered as we accelerated, her mighty branches flexing to absorb the gravitational forces. Through the neural pathways, I could feel parts of our outer hull beginning to necrotize from weapon impacts. "They're targeting our starboard growth nodes," my tactical officer reported. "Redirect sap flow to reinforce the area," I commanded. "Vent spores to cover our retreat." The Eternal Bloom's defensive spores filled local space with a cloud of organic particles. To most species, they would appear as merely a visual obstruction, but the Council's energy weapons ionized them, creating a cascade of micro-explosions that briefly disrupted their targeting systems. We'd discovered that trick 3 battles ago. I doubted it would work again after today. As we fled, the Council commander's transmission cut through all our communication channels, their translator rendering their words into perfect collective speech. "Your species has been judged as non-compliant with Galactic Council standards. Your biological technology represents an obsolete and threatening paradigm. You have rejected our generous offer of standardization. Therefore, you have chosen extinction. We will burn your garden worlds. We will poison your seed ship nurseries. The Arboreal Collective will be remembered only as an example of the price of resistance." I cut off the transmission, but not before hearing the death keen of the Forest's Dawn's Queen reach its final pitch. "They hate us for what we are," Mother Mind Tlith communicated to me privately. "For daring to find a different path to the stars." The Eternal Bloom cleared the debris field, her sensors already searching for a safe vector for our hibernation jump. We had lost another battle. Soon we would sleep in the void, letting our wounds heal as we drifted through the empty spaces between systems. And when we woke, we would fight again. But with each battle, with each retreat, With each loss, the truth became harder to deny. We were losing this war. As the hibernation sequence initiated, I noticed something odd on our long-range sensors. Strange signals coming from an unexplored arm of the galaxy. They weren't council frequencies. They weren't collective communications either. They were something else entirely. "Record them," Mother Mind Lith instructed, her consciousness already beginning to slow as hibernation took hold. "When we wake, we will investigate." The cold of space began to seep through our living hull as the eternal bloom entered her dormant state. As my own consciousness faded, I wondered if those strange signals might offer some hope, some way to survive, or if they were just another trap in a galaxy that had become increasingly hostile to our very existence. The eternal bloom awakened slowly, her systems gradually returning to full function as we drifted at the edge of an unremarkable star system. Sap began flowing through her vessels again, bringing warmth back to her living chambers. Around me, my crew emerged from their hibernation pods, their chitin shells glistening with condensation as they returned to their posts. "Those signals persist," Mother Mind Lith communicated through the ship's mycelial network. "They are unlike anything in our archives." I studied the data we'd collected during our long sleep. The signals were clearly artificial, but they followed no council protocols. They were messy, varied, filled with what seemed to be entertainment broadcasts, navigation beacons, and thousands of overlapping conversations. "Could it be another surviving collective fleet?" my communications officer suggested hopefully. I shook my head. "No, the patterns are all wrong. This is something new. Something the Council hasn't standardized," Mother Mind Lith added, a note of curiosity in her thought voice. The decision was easy to make. We had nowhere else to go. The garden worlds were lost, our sister ships scattered or destroyed. Any hope, no matter how faint, was worth investigating. "Plot a course," I ordered, "but keep us alert for Council vessels." The source of the signals proved to be the fourth planet of the system. As we approached, we detected artificial satellites and significant electromagnetic activity. But what truly caught our attention were the ships. "By the first bloom," my sensor officer chittered in amazement. "They're made entirely of metal." She was right. The vessels we observed were constructed purely of non-living materials, like Council ships. But unlike the Council's perfect geometric forms, these ships were different. They had a strange aesthetic to them, with curves and angles that almost mimicked organic shapes. Their hulls bore markings in an unknown script, and they moved with an unexpected grace. "They are not of the Council," Mother Mind Lith observed. "Their designs show no standardization. Each vessel appears unique." Before we could discuss further, our sensors detected a new contact. One of the metal ships was approaching us, maintaining what seemed to be a respectful distance. A transmission followed, broadcasting on multiple frequencies. They were trying to ensure we could receive them. The message was simple: mathematical sequences, basic atomic models, astronomical data. First contact protocols, but none like the Council used. These beings were introducing themselves to us as equals, not demanding our submission to their standards. "Should we respond?" my communications officer asked. "Yes," Mother Mind Lith decided, "but be ready to jump if—" She never finished the thought. Multiple Council vessels materialized at the system's edge. They must have been tracking us during our hibernation. Their transmission cut through all channels. "Unregistered civilization detected. Prepare for standardization assessment. Resist and share the fate of the biological deviants." The Council ships began their advance, their formation perfect as always. I felt my antenna droop. We couldn't fight them, not in our weakened state. But we couldn't abandon these people to the council either. "Warn them," I ordered my communications officer. "Tell them to—" The metal ship near us moved. Fast. Faster than anything that size should have been able to move. It placed itself between us and the council fleet. More of their vessels were launching from the planet, accelerating to join the defense. "Council vessels, this is Captain Grant of the Earth Defense Force," a new voice transmitted. "You are entering sovereign human space without authorization. Withdraw immediately." The Council's response was predictable. Your civilization will submit to standardization or be eliminated. Biological sympathizers will not be tolerated. What happened next was anything but predictable. The human ships opened fire, not with energy weapons or biological armaments, but with projectiles that moved at appreciable fractions of light speed. The Council's energy shields, so effective against our thorns, meant nothing to these kinetic weapons. The first volley tore through 2 Council ships before they could even begin evasive maneuvers. "Watch," Mother Mind Teelith commanded, her thought voice filled with wonder. The humans fought unlike anything I'd ever seen. Their ships carried no standardized weapons, each vessel sporting a different combination of mass drivers, missile launchers, and point defense systems. They fought as individuals, yet moved as a group. Their formation fluid and adaptable rather than geometrically perfect. When the Council ships fired their dissolving beams, the humans intercepted the attacks with clouds of metallic chaff. When the Council tried to concentrate fire on a single target, the humans scattered and struck from multiple vectors. Their tactics were as varied as their ship designs. "They are like us," Mother Mind Teelith observed. "Different, individual, free." The battle was over quickly. The Council ships that could still maneuver retreated, jumping away to whatever hell had spawned them. The humans immediately began rescue operations for their damaged vessels, their efficiency at damage control matching their skill in combat. Then, they contacted us again. "Biological vessel," Captain Grant's voice came through clear and calm, as if he hadn't just shattered our understanding of what was possible. "We detected your warning about the Council ships." "Thank you. Would you be willing to talk? We'd very much like to know more about who we just fought." I looked at my crew, saw the same mix of hope and disbelief in their postures that I felt in my own hearts. These humans had done what we thought impossible. They'd fought the Council and won, using technology that should have been hopelessly obsolete by Council standards. "Answer them," Mother Mind Teelith instructed, her thought voice warm with possibility. "Tell them everything." "This is Captain Crix of the arboreal collective vessel Eternal Bloom," I responded, "and we have a great deal to discuss." Behind us, the Council ships vanished into jump points. Before us, the human fleet held position, their strange and wonderful metal ships glinting in the system's sunlight. And for the first time since the war began, I felt something I had almost forgotten: hope. 3 cycles had passed since our first contact with humanity. The Eternal Bloom's living hull now wore armor plates of advanced composite materials, engineered by human metallurgists to work in harmony with our biological systems. They were beautiful things, these plates, curved and flowing like our own growth patterns, yet harder than any natural substance. "They understand," Mother Mind Teelith had said when the humans first proposed the design. "They do not seek to change what we are, only to protect it." Now, we stood with the combined human collective fleet at the edge of the 7th Garden World, preparing to take back what was ours. Through the transparent sections of our hull, I could see the human ships arranged around us, each one unique, each one deadly. "Council ships detected," my sensor officer announced. 37 vessels, standard geometric formation. Captain Grant's voice came through our communications network. "All ships, battle positions, remember the plan, Hit them from multiple vectors, no standardized response patterns. Let's show them why diversity is strength. The Council's transmission followed, predictable as ever. Submit to standardization or be eliminated. This is your final warning. I felt my mandibles click in what humans had taught me was called a smile. All Thornseed pods, I commanded, prepare for synchronized launch with human missile batteries. This was what the Council had never understood. They sought to eliminate variation, to force every civilization into their rigid patterns. But the humans had shown us a better way. They hadn't tried to change us or make us abandon our biological technology. Instead, they'd helped us enhance it, protect it, combine it with their own innovations in ways the Council could never have imagined. Launch, Mother Mind Tlith commanded. Our Thornseed pods burst open in concert with the human missile launches, but these weren't the same thorns the Council had learned to counter. The humans had helped us modify them, coating their organic matrices with metallic shells that could pierce energy shields. As the Council raised their standardized defenses against biological weapons, our enhanced thorns cut through them like they weren't there. The space around us erupted in battle. Council ships moved in their perfect formations, firing their dissolving beams, only to find their targets protected by human-designed armor. They tried to predict our movements based on previous encounters, but the human ships darted between their firing solutions, their attack patterns deliberately randomized to prevent adaptation. Multiple Council vessels showing critical damage, my tactical officer reported, his antenna quivering with excitement. Their standardized shields can't adjust to the combined attack types. He was right. The Council's greatest strength, their uniformity, had become their greatest weakness. Every ship in their fleet used the same defensive systems, the same tactical protocols. And now that we'd found a way through those defenses, none of them could adapt. Watch! Mother Mind Tlith directed my attention to a nearby human cruiser. The vessel was engaging 3 Council ships simultaneously, its point defense systems intercepting their dissolving beams while its mass drivers hammered their weakened shields. When they tried to concentrate fire on its position, it launched a spread of missiles that split into smaller projectiles, each one targeting a different vulnerability we'd identified in Council ship design. All ships press the advantage, Captain Grant ordered. Don't give them time to calculate a retreat vector. The eternal bloom surged forward, our modified Thornseed pods launching payload after payload. Around us, human ships maintained a protective screen, their electronic warfare systems disrupting Council targeting computers. We were fighting as one force, yet every ship fought in its own way, biological and mechanical systems working in perfect harmony. Through the neural pathways, I felt Mother Mind Tlith's satisfaction as the Council formation began to break apart. Their ships, so deadly when everything went according to their protocols, seemed lost when faced with attacks they couldn't categorize and predict. Council flagship is attempting to broadcast, my communications officer reported. Let's hear it, I ordered. The transmission was fragmented, distorted by battle damage. This impossible, inferior technology must maintain standards. Send him our response. Captain Grant's voice carried a note of grim satisfaction. All ships, fire everything. The combined fleet launched its final barrage. Human kinetic weapons and enhanced Thornseed pods struck from every angle. Council ships, their formations shattered, their standardized defenses overwhelmed, began to explode in synchronized patterns. Even their deaths were uniform. As the last Council vessel fell silent, I felt Mother Mind Tlith reach out to address both human and collective crews. This is only the beginning. The Council will return with larger forces, new strategies. But they will find us stronger. They will find us together. Damn right they will, Captain Grant responded. And we've got some ideas about updating those Thornseed pods of yours. How do you feel about orbital bombardment capabilities? I clicked my mandibles in another smile. The Council had called us inferior, had tried to standardize us, to remake us in their image. Instead, They had driven us to find allies who understood that true strength lies in diversity, in the combination of different approaches and technologies. They had tried to force us all to be the same. They had failed. The garden world awaits, Mother Mind Tillith reminded us. Let us show the Council how many different ways there are to flourish among the stars. The combined fleet moved into orbit around our reclaimed world. Below us, I could see the first signs of the world heart trees beginning to heal, their sacred branches reaching once again for the sky. Above us, human ships kept watch alongside our living vessels, their metal hulls reflecting starlight like beacons of hope. We had found something better than standardization. We had found unity through diversity, strength through difference. And together we would show the galaxy that there were as many paths to the future as there were stars in the sky. The Council's age of uniformity was over. The age of innovation had begun. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it a lot. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. Feel free to comment and share this story too. It helps the channel grow. Let's make this channel huge together.